So I've talked about potentially learning Japanese. I even dabbled a little bit a couple months ago, and now I've decided to go all in. This is a language that I've thought of learning for quite a while now. And no, it's not because I'm interested in watching anime, but it's because I'm extremely interested in Japanese philosophy and just understanding different parts of different completely different culture rather. And I've had a very good time in Denmark, very good time in Germany, understanding both the cultures because I spent months, not just like a few days there. So I really enjoy learning about new cultures, and I thought if I'm to really get into the culture, I think Japanese is a language that I should pick up if I want to get into the Japanese culture. Now, to just make sure that I am at a level where it is like relatively good, I've decided to go through the JLPT exam in 2024. So could be N5, but I'm thinking I should aim for at least N4 because N5 could be relatively still straightforward. So N4 is like, I think, 300-ish kanji and maybe 1500 vocabulary. So I'm going to share a few resources that I'm picking up to learn Japanese, and throughout the next year, I'll keep sharing my progress, how each of these resources have turned out for me or not. So there are a few resources, free as well as paid, that I'm going to be picking up. So number one is, I understand a few words here and there because I've been watching anime for a very long time, but anime Japanese is not real world, real life Japanese. It's completely different, and maybe not completely different, but it's drastically different. So a couple of resources that I'm picking up just to get started with. Number one is in I understood that I needed to learn Hiragana and Katakana, and until and unless I know those, I can't do anything else in Japanese. And one of the things that I am doing completely against the typical way of giving you guys advice around learning English, which is start speaking as soon as possible. With Japanese, things are a little bit different, and they're especially because the way things are structured, it tends to be, if I start speaking very early on, it tends to be difficult, and what that's going to do is it's going to instill bad speaking habits, which is going to be very difficult then at a later stage for me to take out of, or they're going to be extremely time consuming. So the output side of the language, I am not going to have. I'll have some, but not much, right? So I think that's one very important point. The spoken output. The written output, yes, I will have that. So that's number one. So I'm going to not speak a lot for the next couple of months. I'm going to primarily listen quite a lot and read quite a lot, possibly. So on the listen part, there are animes, there are movies, there are Japanese shows that I follow very regularly. There are Japanese YouTubers that I follow regularly as well. So that's one. Then on the free resources side that are going to help me with the reading as well as with the listening side, number one is of course Duolingo. So Duolingo, I think, has a taboo for a lot of people, and a lot of people say like it's not good enough, it doesn't make you fluent. Fine, but my aim from Duolingo is not to get fluent, is to just get started with the language and get started with like this streak that every day I need to spend a little bit of time. The goal is to spend about half an hour a day, because that's all I can do. I can't spend 3-4 hours a day. That's not gonna happen. I have a full-time job, and I am a content creator, so I make a lot of videos. I have multiple channels to maintain. I am also a marketing consultant, so need to do all of those things as well in parallel. So I'm not gonna be able to spend hours. Half an hour is a good start for me. So that's number one. And Duolingo is one of those apps that I've started to use to learn Hiragana, Katakana. Then I'll probably also use Duolingo for the kanji practice, but also on top of that, there's a little bit of understanding of the basic stuff that comes from Duolingo. It 100% doesn't help you to converse in Japanese. That's like Camly, italki, on those kind of platforms, which I'll pick up probably in March and April and after, once I have been in the language enough, or I have immersed myself in the language enough for a few months. A couple more apps that I've picked up. One is called as Japanese. It's a red icon. So that's one. The other one is called Kanji, and the other one is called Mochi Mochi. And as you can see, a lot of this revolves around learning the writing system. So Hiragana is the main writing system in Japanese that I'm going to be picking up. In fact, I have a notebook. So Japanese Pod 101 has a YouTube channel which is free. So not only I'm using Duolingo etc. to learn Hiragana, Katakana, because this is not like English. This is not like me learning German, where the only thing that I need to add is like an umlaut above my O and umlaut uh, above my U, etc. This is a completely different writing script, right? So I need to work on that script from context, but at the same time I also need to review it regularly. So what I've started to do is I've started to write hiragana for now from Japanese Pod 101. I think they have really, really great explanations, which are much better than what you learn from Duolingo. So I'll rather, so what I'm doing here is I'm learning hiragana. So they have like a 2 hour 5 minute video um, on YouTube, which is for free. So I'm going through that video once, writing everything down, understanding what they are saying, the sounds, etc. Moving from that into Duolingo, which is also reinforcing that, then moving into an app like Mochi Mochi or Kanji as I start to learn Kanji vocabulary as well. That's number one. Number two, because I'm thinking of giving an exam, this is not going to be enough, because in the exam, there are, as always, there are going to be multiple sections. There's reading. I need to be really good at grammar, vocabulary, reading, listening, speaking, all of those things. So speaking is something that I'll introduce later, but on the reading side of things, and also on the just understanding the structure of language, and going through a proper workbook, I'm going to start with Japanese from Zero, is a workbook that I found. And to be honest, there's Mina no Nihongo, which everybody suggests. A friend of mine who's done N4 who suggested me the same thing as well. I haven't gone with Mina no Nihongo because there is no English to Japanese kind of thing, and I was very wary of that. But the point is, the Learn Japanese from Zero Level 1 book on Amazon India was 600 rupees. Every other book to learn Japanese on Amazon India is like 4,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees is $50+. This one was like less than $10 in equivalent money, if you have to look at that. So just because it is good, a lot of people recommend it, and two, it was very cheap. So I went with that. I didn't go with anything else. Genki ones are extremely expensive here, so I haven't gone with Genki yet, right? Also because I'm still unsure, right? I am sure about that. I really am interested in learning the language. I'm really interested in learning the culture, but I'm still relatively unsure to spend so much money, like hundreds of dollars, on something like this. So that's why I'm waiting a little bit to do that. So that's one another point that I'm really looking into. Second thing that I'm going to do, which I have already put in motion, because I do have a couple of contacts in Japan, is get Japanese books, a couple of Japanese books, only technically only one or two, and these are going to be relatively complex, but the aim is to start reading those relatively complex books for and read them for years. These are the books that are going to be extremely helpful for years to come. And the one that they very popularly use for, even for kids, for this concept called simple reading in Japan, which I've talked about in the last video of mine, is Analects of Confucius. So I've sent a link to the common contact. Whenever they're visiting India, they're a Japanese person, they regularly visit India for some work, and when the next time they are coming, I am aiming to get that book from them. That's one. Also, Kindle Unlimited. So I have Kindle Unlimited membership, Kindle Unlimited on Amazon India. If you look for Japanese language books, you will also find the Nemoto version of Analects or something like that. So that's something that I've downloaded for free as well, because of the unlimited thing. And that's something that I'm going to go over as I grasp hiragana, katakana, and a little bit of kanji, so that I understand at least basic Japanese, and the rest of the things. And the reason I'm going for Kindle first is because I can just tap on the word, have the dictionary within Kindle itself, and I can just refer to the meaning. And that's, I think that's going to be a pretty interesting exercise altogether. So that's something that I'm looking forward to. So these are the resources that I'm planning to use, or I've started using, to learn Japanese. And I'll catch up. I'm not sure how often I'm going to be making these videos, because if I'm spending half an hour, I'm gonna be spending months to make a little progress. So I'm thinking maybe like once a month kind of a review or something like that, just to keep you guys in the loop of where things are with this. But yeah, that's that. Let's see how things pan out. Hope this helps you in case you are also getting into Japanese, at least the way you can think about it, because I spent a lot of time watching a lot of these where to learn Japanese from videos, blogs, and thinking about how I want to go about it. Also contrary to my approach, which is like I speak first and then get into the other side, the written and the writing side later. I'm going the complete opposite way in this case. So let's see how things pan out. Let's see how things progress. I'll keep you guys in the loop. Till then, guys, bye and take care.